they're gonna want to see it if you're holding a cat, because it's usually the cat ladies that are like.
Anyhow,
but now you've made me think there's a dick and a cat in the same picture.
Not in a cat.
Because they're cages. They are terrible. I hate them
yeah.
so much.
Man, you were worked up.
The bottom of my feet are soft. Like
I have never disagreed with you more about something.
And I remember like legit being like, I hope I don't accidentally touch a kid tomorrow.
The kids know.
What?
Is that not how it goes?
No. You guys are gonna get canceled real fast. Do not say that.
All right, I guess we got to do a sign off then.
We didn't even do an intro.
It happens.
Welcome to
that GD podcast.
Yeah. Yep.
Joined by my friends Kyle
Yeah.
and Andy.
Like and subscribe.
And
Hey,
what was the first thing we talked about?
You're talking about a lack of subscribers, yet there's one person that keeps trying to put the message out to the people and you keep cutting it. So I think I figured out what the problem is. Please like and subscribe. It helps our algorithm, and we're trying to get a couple upgrades to our studio setup. So the more subscribers, the better.
I have a pizza box over the window.
We talk about strip clubs.
And things. Nice.
Yeah. I was going to try to aim for your cup, but
that might break
dangerous.
the
Yeah.
all right.
All right, we'll get started.
Kyle,
3,
In the mic.
Kyle.
2, 1. Ooh, way off.
Okay, we're good.
It's okay.
Real quick, I brought an old school favorite of mine. When I moved to Oklahoma, I pretty much primarily drank one whiskey, and I thought it was a good whiskey. I didn't know anything about whiskeys, and then when I got up here, Matt Castle and Key gave me shit for this whiskey, and then I went to a bar, Kilkenny's, and they gave me shit for liking this whiskey. But I still have a bottle from 3 years ago.
Goo.
So I've got some Gentleman's Jack tonight.
That's a big old bottle.
Yeah, this is 3 years old, but I need to get room in my liquor cabinet, so...
So it's aged 3 years?
Exactly. Whatever they say on the bottle, plus 3 years.
Okay.
Hope you guys enjoy. It's apparently not a good whiskey.
Apparently not. That's okay.
When I used to break out my bottle of Gentleman's Jack, like I was like, in my mind, I was showing off. I was impressing people.
I kind of think that.
Yeah, but...
I don't know that I've ever had it, though. At least the bottle, that hand is kind of wet from the ice cube, so...
Which the standard bottle of Gentleman Jack always had a cork, and then towards the end they moved it to the screw top, and I wish I still
that
had
is
one.
a difference maker.
Yeah,
And what's the heft on the top?
it's a decent bottle.
No, just the cork. What's the heft?
Not heavy like the Castle and Key.
No.
Yeah,
We're getting away from the goodness.
yeah. We're heading back to TX. I'm running to Texas over Thanksgiving to see my sister, and while I'm there, I'm going to buy 2 big bottles of TX. So we'll be stocked up on that for a while.
Go ahead and buy me one.
I got you.
Didn't know you the-
Liquor in Texas is like roughly $10 cheaper for almost every bottle. So every time I go back now, I stock up.
Oklahoma has sin tax on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Syntax.
So even at restaurants, like we don't have that in Texas, but when you go to a restaurant, if you get a drink, like there's a separate line. It's like sales tax, alcohol
And
tax.
it's like 11% or something.
It's a
That's
lot, yeah.
wild. So there you go. That's the reason.
Not bad.
Oh, yes. The painting over there. I feel like a gentleman now.
Because you're drinking the Gentleman Jack, baby.
That's smooth. Why do they call this stuff crap?
I don't know. I think it's because it's like the mainstream brand. Like Jack Daniels is. So if you want to be cool, you have a bottle of something nobody's ever heard of before.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's part. I don't think it's a bad whiskey. I just think it's one of those, like, to be cool, you have to hate on it. I don't know why.
Oh, like a hipster.
I think so. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you're a square if you drink Jack Daniels. I don't know if that's what they say. I'm going to say that though. So anyhow, dude, we've been apart for like 10 days. We skipped a recording. Is it 14? Whatever.
We did skip a
14
recording.
days.
Yeah.
And if you guys are cool with trusting me, the next one's coming out tomorrow.
Oh, you're good.
Fine. Whatever.
I've said before, I will never complain about editing because I don't want to do it. So you take your time.
I did 0 editing. I cut out the workplace
Okay.
and a few comments. But other than that, nothing special. No fun words on the screen. I zoomed in once and was like, yeah, I'm done with that. Play.
I think you're good. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
What level of felony did I admit to that still on the pod?
The felonies are gone.
That's what's scary is I'm really comfortable now saying anything because so far the dumb stuff I've said, Justin always catches and removes. So like when I leave here, I'll be like, oh, like I wish I didn't say that. And then when the episode comes out, it's not in there. So now I feel like total freedom that I'm just going to say it. And I trust that Justin will remove it if it's not a good idea to say it. And so far you're batting 1,000. So
Sweet.
I think your buddy will tell us really quickly though.
Which one? Darth Yoda?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he'll tell us really quickly.
Yeah.
By the way, Yoda, thanks for all the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome.
Yeah.
We love it.
I tried to go play disc golf with you, but Andy didn't want me.
So first of all, I whooped his ass at disc golf on Saturday morning. I'm playing the best disc golf of my life over the last month. I just want you guys to know that. I'm beating people that I don't normally beat. Anyhow, Kyle, the night before, I was like, we're going to play disc golf. If you want to go, be here by 8:30 and ride with me. And he was like, cool, I'll let you know. And it seemed like he might actually do it. And I even told my wife that night. I was like, I'm real excited. Like, Kyle might go play disc golf with us. The next morning, it's like 8:15. I haven't heard from him. So I was like, okay, clearly he's not going. No, I'm not upset, but he's obviously not going. I go pick up Darth Yoda. We're 10 minutes from the park. And I get a text from him that says, what's the plan? Like he's thinking I called him immediately because I was driving. And luckily, right off the bat, he was like, yeah, I woke up at 6:30. Yeah. I thought about it, and then I went back to bed. So, no, not upset. I was just, that moment when you were like, what's the plan? I was like, did this motherfucker really think that, like, we're going to wait on him now?
No, I didn't think you were going to wait on me. I just know that a majority of people without anywhere to actually be at a certain time are just going to be kind of late.
So,
like, we're still 40 minutes out. And I've been like, cool, I'm on the way. But you were very much like, you've missed the boat. Get the fuck out of here.
You did miss the boat. Sorry.
You can't join on hole 2. That would be.
Are there tea times?
Well, and I also hadn't brought a spare bag and discs for you
who's not prepping now? I was ready. I was there.
It was in my garage. It was ready to go.
I was getting dressed.
Okay. Well, sorry. Next time, I hope you're there. I'm a stickler for like punctuality. Like I get upset when people are late and don't call or text to say they're running late. And especially when it comes to playing disc golf on a Sunday morning during the NFL season, like I'm going to be there at the time I need to be there to be home in time for kickoff. So there's no extra time to play with.
And yeah, I'm going to be late to the podcast tonight.
That's okay.
Sorry I didn't text you.
Yeah, you're good. I was watching the last episode, so I was sitting in the driveway watching it. So we're good. But yeah. But anyhow, I do hope that both of you make it out on the course with me soon. But yeah, I'm playing good right now.
Yeah, that's good. Well, how about Sunday?
This Sunday, I'm down. I might be in Texas, but if I'm not, I'm down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't.
I got family in town.
So you're leaving?
In Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, I got family in town, so I got to go to Texas.
Yeah.
Like,
Checks out.
Family. Texas
family?
is still in town for me. Family visiting my mom down there, and it's my sister and her kids, and my daughter has not seen those cousins in like I want to say close to 2 years, and she loves them. So getting her down there, which. We're toying with the idea. I'm going to call my mom tomorrow and see if I can drive her down on Sunday and leave her there for like 4 days and then come back on Thanksgiving. We've never done that. And the thought of me and my wife like being alone in the house for 4 days with no kid, like I'm giddy about it. Like,
wow.
I know, like and it's probably not going to happen, but like when we first kind of had the idea, I was like, yeah, we could do that. And then the second I started thinking about it, I was like, oh, that would be fucking awesome. Like I love my daughter, but that would be awesome to go 4 days with no kid in the house. So never done it before.
Nope.
No.
No, you wouldn't do it?
No, I have never.
No,
done it.
I would do it. Hell,
I was going to say.
Take
you
Abby
guys,
and Carter now.
I thought you guys were trying to give me the I would never be without my kid for, no, screw you guys. Like,
I'm without my kid like every other week because
That's
of
true.
work.
You're
No.
man.
I'll just drop her off at you. I'll drop my kids off at your house. That sounds wonderful. But no, I've never done it.
Gotcha.
Never have my kids been in town. Never have they. Nope. We've been out of town without our kids, but otherwise.
But that was like a night.
Well,
we've been to Hawaii and.
So I do have a dad question for y'all if you're ready to jump into one
If
topic.
we're ready
that I
to
got.
do a podcast.
Yeah.
Let's do a podcast.
Okay, so first of all, situation happened with my daughter. I think I overreacted initially, but then I kind of underreacted, and now I'm having a hard time figuring out where I should be on this.
Where's the middle line?
Yeah, like, and I know kind of. Like I said, I think first of all, this has to do with an adult putting their hands on my child. So initial reaction was like, who, and I'm going to go find them. Like that was my initial reaction.
Rightfully so.
There's very little that you can say after this that's going to change my mind on that.
Well, so I'm going to give you the full rundown, and I'll tell you this right now: I'm okay with the adult. I'm not mad, but I went through a range of emotion.
Okay.
First of all, my kid comes home from school 2 days ago, and she walks in kind of sad, and I'm like, what's going on? And she says, my arm hurts, and points at her arm, like grabs her arm. I'm like, okay, why is your arm hurt? And she's like, one of the teachers grabbed me.
Okay.
And right then,
I can think of one example as to why it would be okay. So I'm interested to know if that's it.
Right away, I'm trying to maintain calm in front of my kid, but fucking going red. Okay. And I'm asking her details, what happened, and she says, okay, she's walking in. Apparently, it was raining that day. They were having inside recess. Her grade is split into like half the kids go to lunch first, and the other half do recess, and they split. They switch. Yeah. And one of her very best friend, is in the other group, so she doesn't get to see them.
I won't tell our kids about that, but that's fine.
They're walking in, and I guess the other girl's walking by them. They were in line walking, and she sees her friend, and she jumps out and hugs her friend, excited to see her. And apparently the teacher grabbed her and, like, according to my daughter, squeezed hard for about a second and then just kind of pulled her back into line. And I'm, okay, hold on. Have you guys discussed not getting out of line? Like, was this something that she's told you multiple times? She's like, no, never. And she did basically say that it's implied that they're not supposed to get out of line, but she's never been warned about getting out of line, and it's not really been a deal. It also turns out this wasn't the teacher. This was I don't know if they're paid or not, but I think they're volunteers. It was like a lunchroom assistant mom that, like, they help at recess and at lunch. Okay.
Punch that mom in the face.
So
I'm going to grab her arm.
So, but I'll say this right away. My daughter's known to, like,
exaggerate a little bit. Like that is a curiosity.
My first thought is, I'll bet there's cameras all over the school, and I'd like to see it with my own eyes, just because I think I'll be able to tell right away, was this excessive or was this her guiding my daughter back into line? Because it could be either one. So I calmed down immediately at that point, and I became the let's see the rest of the body cam footage type guy. Like, I want to hear out both sides here. She did say that one of her classmates, who I think was a boy, said, hey, you should tell our teacher about that. And she said, no, I don't want to. And then the kid was like, can I tell our teacher about that? And she was like, yeah, go for it. So this kid tells the teacher. The teacher pulls her aside in class, asks her what happened, and says, okay, we're going to finish this activity, and then you're going to go down to the office. So she goes down to the office and talks to, like, the front desk lady. And the front desk lady's like, what happened? She tells her the story, and they just go, okay, we'll talk to her, and they send her back to class. So now I've heard this side of the story. This is the end of the story for that day. And I'm like, well, hold on, that's all they're doing? Like, that... I would have thought you would have got to talk to a principal or something. Like, it doesn't seem like they took it very seriously. So I'm back to mad. I went from seeing red to, like, maybe I don't know all the facts to, like, that's the investigation? Like, what are we doing here? So I'm a little hot. And I talked to my wife about it that night. I asked my wife, I'm like, if I'm being a little ridiculous here, like, tell me. Like, and she was like, no, like, you're not. That's not okay. Again, we don't know the severity of this. So I told my wife, I was like, tomorrow I'm going to drop her. And I asked my kid, I said, hey, do you mind if I talk to somebody about this? And she said, no, I don't want you to. She said, I handled it. Don't want you to do it. I'm not cool with that, though. I feel like I want to talk about this. Side note here, I was a chaperone for one of the field trips, so I had to get BEST certified. Any parent that goes in the building for anything has to get BEST certified. You've been through it. And a lot of what they talk about is, like, not putting your hands on kids, it's a lot of, and I remember when I did the field trip, I was very nervous because I was like, man, like, if a boy's doing something, I could see myself putting my hand on his shoulders and be like, up this way, buddy. Yeah. And I remember, like, legit being like, I hope I don't accidentally touch a kid tomorrow. That sounded so wrong.
What was the last great quote from Andy? If I ever get a 21-year-old boy in a room alone, 20-year-old boy, yeah, okay. It's still legal.
Anywho, 20 is totally legal. Anyhow. So I'm back to kind of sympathizing with this parent. I'm like, I still want to see the tape. Like, how hard was it? And if it was just somebody being like, hey, this way, like, then I'm more cool with it. So I talked to my wife, and even though my daughter is not cool with this, I'm going to drop her off tomorrow, wait till about 9, and then I'm going to go back up there and ask to speak to somebody and just make sure that they're handling this. I'm not trying to get anybody fired.
Right.
But I drop my kid the next day. I go for my walk. While I'm on my walk, my wife calls me. And she's like, hey, I just got a call from the assistant principal. And apparently the front desk lady had gotten the information to then give to them. They called Lennon down first thing in the morning. They asked her what she was wearing. They went back and reviewed the tape. They heard her side of the story again, sent her back to class, went back and found the tape, watched the tape, then called my wife to discuss. Oh. So now I've gone from I'm pretty mad about all this to, like, that is exactly how I want the school to handle this. Like, I'm so pleased with the school she goes to. They called her. They talked to her about it. I still would like to see the tape, but I don't think that's on the cards. Like, for some reason, I would assume there's reasons they would say
liability.
They can't. Yeah, and there's other kids on the. Anyhow,
They don't want Annie seeing other kids.
the way they described it,
Certainly 20-year-old boys on this tape.
the way they described it is they said it looked like a mom moving her kid, and she is a mom of like 3 kids. So they said it didn't look violent. It didn't, but either way, we're going to talk to her, going to give her a retrain on this. Like, trust us, like this doesn't happen often. Our expectation is that, volunteers do not touch kids. They said all the right things. So I'm totally fine. But that initial reaction of like, hold on, like, I immediately went back, though, and I was like, back in the day, they used to spank kids with a paddling class. And part of me, like, every now and then I'll go down a road where I'll be like, that's the problem with America today is, like, we don't spank kids in school. I don't mean that, but overall just being too soft on kids.
Right.
Also, if I had a son that told me that, I don't think I'd give a shit. If he was like, yeah, one of the lunch lady moms grabbed my arm, I'd be like, what did you do? But the fact that it was my daughter was different.
Yeah.
Well,
what do you guys?
A couple follow-up questions.
Okay.
One, I assume you've kept a close eye on that arm.
There's no bruising. So I actually,
That would have been like, if there was the tiniest bruise, it would have been absolutely World War III.
as soon as she told me, I was like, let me see your arm. And there was a bruise on her arm. And it was right where the thumb would be if that.
Yeah.
But then we thought about it and it was like, okay, this is 2 hours.
That would be quick.
That's 2 hours. And then Stephanie said she's pretty sure that bruise was already there. But I took that picture because I was like, she's bruised. Like, that was when I was seeing red still at that point.
That bruise did not look 2 hours old.
So again, that was false alarm, but I was seeing red.
But if if there was some
that
sort
was
of
perfectly where the thumb would go too. I was like,
It is, exactly.
if there, if there was a marking, if there was a noticeable marking, it would have been World War III.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It would have been on. I do appreciate your linear thinking as the time went on through it. I followed you. I was kind of with you in the emotions and the thought process. I think you did a good job.
I really didn't do anything. I managed to not go off and do something stupid. Other than
that's a pretty good job. That's a pretty good job. Like, and it does depend on the kid. If Carter came home and told me that someone grabbed her and pulled her, I'd been like, all right, I'll let me know where, who, and what their address is and what their work schedule is and what they like to eat for breakfast, and I will go find them. Mm-hmm. If Abby told me, I'd be like, why didn't you do something about that?
Yeah. Abby gets the boy treatment pretty much. Yeah. She can take care of herself.
Yeah. This is a aside that's kind of related. I saw today from the Tulsa Police Department, there was an arrest for a daycare worker that a 16-month-old kid was biting kids in class, so she bit him. And your spanking, your capital punishment thought made me go think of that. And I'm like, it was funny. I was sitting with a coworker when I read it, and she was like, oh, that's how my mom stopped me from biting.
That seems logical.
But this woman's going to go to prison for a long time. It's not her kid.
Right.
100% not her kid. Can't do that. Don't do that shit. But at the same time, I was like, that's a good argument. Let me check the comments. Second comment. Yep, that's how you stop kids from biting. Third comment. Yep, that's how that worked for me. Fourth comment. I'm like, oh, maybe she won't go to prison for a long time. Maybe the jurors will be like,
That's one where she just needs to have a talk with the parents and be like, hey, can you bite your kid?
bite the shit out of your kid.
Hey, right there in the fatty part.
Or even, and I don't think this would ever happen, but have a talk with the parents and be like, hey, I've got an idea of how to stop this. I need your approval. And if the parents say, yeah, bite him. Okay, cool. Game on.
Another solution, much more humane. Get that spray that you get at PetSmart so your dogs don't chew on stuff in the house, and just spray all of the kids with that.
I like it.
My mom did that in a way. So I used to chew on strings from my hoodie. I still do, if I'm being 100%
My kid does
honest.
that constantly.
So she doused it in that spray one time. It didn't work, apparently. I still do it.
I say we take it a step further. When you go to like Academy, you can buy like fox urine and that'll stop it right away.
Abby got bit this week.
By a fellow player or what?
Yeah, in a basketball game, she got bit.
Okay.
Like in the ear or
No, arm. So I noticed
intentionally.
Yeah, I noticed her.
Was
I
it
noticed
Liberty?
Her, no.
Okay.
No, it
So
was.
it
It was
sounds
a very prestigious private school, like one of the top 2 private schools in Tulsa.
Okay.
Double H or BK.
No, it's a small school. Like I didn't even know about it until like a year ago.
I only know the one we practice at. So
Well, gladly, it was Riverfield.
okay.
Never even heard of it.
I know that now they're hiring all these ex-NBA players to be their coaches and stuff. Like and tuition is higher than any.
Well,
Damn.
I guess the Jinx people have to send their kids somewhere.
Yeah. So I noticed Abby walk over after the game and like actually just shoulder check this girl And I didn't notice anything in the game. And I'm like, she comes up. I'm like, what the hell was that? And she goes, she shows me her arm and a bite mark on her arm. She said, she bit me. And I said, you let her walk off the court like that?
Yep.
Like what? My whole, it's almost like the linear thinking again. It was like my mentality changed. I'm like, if that was a soccer pitch, she would have been 6 feet under. They would have had to bring a cart out for her.
Yeah.
And she's like, basketball's different. And I'm like, she bit you. She bit you. It might not be different. Go ahead and take your...
It is odd how like fighting in the different sports. I'm thinking professional, like male professional sports, because that's what I watch. Like in hockey, you're almost expected to drop gloves at some point through. Like in football, there's expected to be that scrum that happens.
I hate the scrum.
Normally, there's not a punch thrown. In baseball, it goes from 0 to bench clearing, and there's no in between. And in basketball,
it's not really a thing unless it like erupts the entire arena.
I was gonna say after the what they call it, like the malice in the palace. Yeah, after that, there was the rule where nobody can go if there's a fight or a scuffle that breaks out and you take one step onto the court from the bench, you were suspended immediately for like I don't know how many games, but it's
one automatically if your foot touches the court, but then
so it prevents everybody else from running on. But like throughout the different sports, our tolerance for fighting is different. Like it's odd.
Basketball players are pansies.
I'm telling you right now, if that's on a soccer field, that girl doesn't leave the game. Does not walk off that field.
She leaves the game.
Yeah, she's only leaving with help
from not on her own volition. Like
carried off.
Yeah, 100%. But she felt comfortable doing it on a basketball court.
Mm-hmm. Do I get to make that 5th tally mark?
No, I mean, because I was like, Abby, what was that? You walked over to their bench in front of every single one of them and just drilled this girl. And I'm like, and that was after the game. And I'm like, that was not cool. She bit me. Shows me, go back down there and take care of this shit.
Break those fingers.
Yep.
Yeah, she doesn't know. She doesn't know the secrets of playing dirty in a basketball game.
Not yet.
She does not know those at all.
I don't know the secrets.
Oh, there's a ton of them.
I just play like I don't know the rules. So if you're gonna screen me, I'm running through you. I guess
those are the things. Those are the things, though. Like take the you get the offensive foul. I said, Abby, you get the ball on a fast break. You're twice that girl's size. Find her, slow down just enough to make sure she kind of gets in the way. And then go as fast as you can. Oh, no, it's a charge. She will not touch you again. Not once, not ever. And you can do that against people twice your size because they don't expect you to go, okay.
Yeah.
Hangouts.
Yeah,
I'm changing subjects. We good with that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, go for
it.
Okay.
I figured that was the end of that.
Yeah, but there's enough soccer talk.
Did I misread the? Okay.
No, enough soccer talk.
Hangouts. You have a nearly... within the next year, 13-year-old girl?
Yeah.
You don't. I have a 13-year-old girl. What age is an unsupervised hangout with friends appropriate?
Are boys a part of this hangout or just girls?
Anybody.
Unsupervised 100%?
A parent is upstairs and not coming downstairs.
Ooh. So... I was gonna say if it's in a public place, like if you're dropping them all off at the mall.
No. This is a house situation. Okay, you can make up whatever scenario you want. The one I'm talking about is a house situation. Parent is like not coming downstairs. Have fun.
Like they said specifically, like I'm not coming downstairs. Have a good time.
The closet
I don't know
is
that
right over there.
I don't know that.
Okay. At what age do I feel comfortable letting my oldest go do that?
Yeah, it's not a party because we didn't call it a party. We called it a hangout. And, yeah.
So this, real quick, this kills the whole unsupervised thing. So I know this isn't going to be a great answer, but like, for me, it would depend on how well I trust the other parents. And even if they say, hey, we're going to let them have their space tonight. Like, if it's somebody I trust, like one of you two saying that, like, I know you're going to let them have their space, but you're also going to kind of have an ear out for what's going on.
Absolutely.
But if I don't know the other parent at all, and they're like, yeah, I'm staying upstairs, kids can do what they want. Like, oh, no.
There ain't no boys in my house without
18?
me being...
Yeah.
18 is the age then?
Yeah.
I mean, like, if it's you two, whenever. Like to your point, like, it's just...
Yeah, I didn't know the parents well.
Okay, I don't know. As you're asking this question, I'm thinking immediately like, nah, not happening, bro.
Yeah, you have to give some grace and trust in your kids.
I trust Ainsley to be smart.
Right.
I don't trust teenage boys.
No, not at all.
We have a good reason to not trust teenage boys. We were one, and we know what they're after. And there's no shame, but that's, I mean, so the hormones are kicking.
This happened at Abby's school. Small Christian school. Ain't sure. Not wearing that. Yeah. All right. And then there's some photos circulating. Nothing bad. Nothing bad.
Okay.
But enough to where, you've got a reputation at a school with that few people. And, like I said, literally nothing bad. Nothing beyond like cuddling kind of thing.
With opposite sex?
But nothing to where like kissing or
Sure.
anything beyond that. I don't know what happened at the hangout. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But it just reaffirmed the idea. Abby talked about it. She never asked to go. She never even was like, it broached the subject of going.
So she did or did not go?
No.
Oh,
Okay.
No, she
I
never-
thought the picture of a kid cuddling was
Was
of Abby
Abby.
with a boy.
Oh,
and
did I
was
mislead?
Like,
Yep.
Nope. Sorry.
No, mine
Wasn't
was
trying to
like,
mislead.
my thought was like, wow, Kyle's handling this pretty well. Like,
No.
sorry. Okay. I'm
No,
back
Abby
with you.
never even asked to go. She told us about it.
Gotcha.
So the conversation came up with one of her closest adult confidants, someone she sees at school regularly. And the response from Abby was one of the most genuine and cool responses, because she reached out to Morgan afterwards and was like, "Hey, I want to let you know what Abby said about this hangout situation." She said, "I would much rather spend time with my parents than be in a situation like that."
Good. You've done a good
And
job.
I was like, "Oh, hell yeah. That's it. Victory lap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Victory lap. I did it. I did it. For now, you can screw it up anytime.
Anytime.
Any moment." But she told the person that she didn't have to tell that had no idea that she would talk to Morgan or I. And she told him that. She's like, "I was having a much better time spending time with my parents than anything that would have happened there."
Keep it going, man. You're not done. The finish line's still
flip the
further ahead.
table,
Yeah.
flip the table. And I'm like, all right.
No, that's. I said this recently. I think it was at soccer, but like the whole like Chris Rock said it first, but like my job as a dad is to keep my kid off the pole, basically. There's something along those lines,
Right.
And people have said that forever, but nowadays it's OnlyFans, so we need to find a different way to say like
Strip
I
clubs
just
are still open too.
Yeah, but I was about to make a strong case for why OnlyFans is better, but I don't want to do that. But you don't have creepy guys. I mean,
Is it
OnlyFans-
though? Is it though? Because it's recorded forever.
Okay, so you have that, but also I think the amount of money they make and they never have to come in contact with a guy. Like, I don't want my daughter to do any of it, but I would say that if I was a girl, like the OnlyFans route would be much more preferred than going to a strip club and dance, like grinding on guys. That just seems like common sense.
Touche. That's a good point.
Yeah.
If I was a woman, I would definitely. If I had,
Yeah.
if I was down on my luck and it's like, well, I could go to the
Gotta-
dirty sock down the street, or hey guys,
Yep. And supposedly what some girls make on that is ridiculous. There's girls
yeah.
pulling in like 6 figures a month doing that, and
are there dudes pulling that in? Like, do I need to start taking feet pics?
Actually, I think there
Yeah.
are.
okay.
Oh,
I think there are.
I did see a video. Some dude was
I mean,
like,
I wouldn't know.
some dude was talking to his sister, and he gave her like a duffel bag of cash and was like, "Here you go, this is for you." And she's like, "What is this?" And he goes, "Pay off your student loans." And she said, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, pay off your student loans." And she said,
You want me to
"This
drive you
is
home, buddy?"
A whole bunch of money."
Sorry.
And
You said you were going to get me drunk.
Yep.
he said, "Yeah, I paid for that with my
Okay.
the C word." And she immediately was like, "You okay? Thanks."
Ah,
I'm still taking it.
all right. I'm assuming you're talking like a dick pic.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a lady will comment on this and explain it to me, but like I've never understood why a girl would want it. Like I've never taken and sent a dick pic, and to me, like I can't think of a woman that's ever been like, oh, like I've never had a girlfriend that's like, please send me a picture of your junk. Like it's not anything anybody wants to see. Maybe you guys have had a different experience, but
I would like to say that you probably have not. Women and men are very different, obviously, but just for as many lonely, ridiculous men out there, there are probably that many lonely, ridiculous women out
But even at that, would they want to see like a guy looking all sexy, like in a fireman?
They're gonna
Yes.
want to see it.
Yes.
They're gonna want to see it if you're holding a cat, because it's usually the
Yeah.
cat ladies that are like
Anyhow,
there. But now you've made me think there's a dick and a cat in the same picture.
not in a cat.
No. Dick and a cat.
Okay.
I'm going to write a book.
Crazy cat ladies.
I'll say that
Dick and a cat.
the balls that it takes on someone to send an unsolicited dick pic, and like from what you see online, apparently like 90
Happens all the time.
99% of dick pics sent are unsolicited. Just like kind of, I'm just gonna throw it out there and see what she says. And like I can't imagine like the cojones to be like, I'm going to send her my dick and see what she says. Like, I wouldn't have the guts to do that in any way, shape, or form. But
No, but now you made a good point. It's the unsolicited part that's the problem. There are people that are seeking this out.
There are people seeking it.
Okay.
And it's not the unsolicited part. It's the fact that it is extra solicited. In fact, here's $12.99 a month or whatever.
I like how we're talking about, just, women. There's women out there. It's definitely other dudes.
It's also probably other dudes.
It's probably dudes.
That's probably
it's
not
probably
wrong.
dudes where
You're
they're
probably not wrong.
It's like the stat where like more
I didn't consider
more
this at
men
all.
get raped per year than women, and it's like, oh, I don't feel bad for them. Like, no, it's by other men. Like that's
Oh yeah, men are terrible.
yeah, men are bad creatures. We're one of them, but we're three of them.
three.
Three and one.
We are
Yeah.
one. We are like a transformer, actually.
Yes.
We're like Head and Shoulders, 3 and 1. How
That's
do
like
they
the
do it?
big Power Ranger when they all get
Yeah,
together.
yeah, we morph.
No, I don't understand it. There's things I don't understand. Dick pics, dudes that wear flip flops. Like I won't get that. I know, Kyle. I know. I'm not going to argue with you about it, but what happens if you're in a situation where you have to run to protect your family?
I can outrun you right now in these flip
Dude,
flops.
what's weird? You'll never see me in a pair of flip flops. Like maybe if we're like at a beach, you'll see me just
Also,
from the car to the beach.
I can chunk these things off mid run, and I'm still going.
So I wear socks and shoes every day of my life, all the time. You won't see me barefoot much, but because of that, the bottom of my feet are soft. Like
I have never disagreed with you more about something.
about the flip flops.
Yeah.
So here, but let me tell you this. I'll let you into my issue. I don't know how to walk in flip flops. Like my wife makes fun of me for it. Like
Okay.
I try to keep my toes clenched down to keep the flop
So you bend
up. I want it to stay attached to my heel every step, and like I clench when it's like when you put a socks on a cat. Like that's what I look like in flip flops.
Kittenmans?
I don't understand it.
So you don't have flip flops. You just have.
I have one pair of flip flops that
Clogs.
just in case I end up at a beach. But you'll never see me walking around with flip flops. I can't do it. I'm not talented enough to walk in flip flops.
Have you tried Birkenstocks?
I wear Crocs. If I'm going, like I'm going,
Okay.
If I'm
Okay.
going to the
Fuck
pool-
this argument.
You wear Crocs?
No.
You're
If
making
I-
fun of flip flops?
If I go to the pool, I'm walking from the house to the pool. I'm wearing Crocs the whole way. I take off my Crocs, I hop in the pool. I put my Crocs back
do you
on.
have it in speed mode?
Sometimes depends on what I need to do. Yeah, like I said, as a man, you never know when you might have to run, and that's why I don't get flip flops.
You're not going to run fast in Crocs. It's foam.
I could run pretty fast in my Crocs. Plus, I'll say that I went through a phase. Like, you can make fun of me for it all you want, but Crocs and socks is the most comfortable combination ever made. It's like pillows for your feet. It's the greatest. I used to wear it into public. I don't anymore, but I know that it was wrong, but at the same time, it was quite great.
I feel the anger rising in my body, and I'm just trying to control it a little bit. It's like
Aren't you the one who quotes Idiocracy a lot?
That's why they used Crocs in that.
Yes,
Yeah.
because they're like, what's the most ridiculous shoe? What are these? Yeah, put everybody in those.
They're the most comfortable footwear with socks, though. I don't like Crocs without socks.
so it's not a look thing at all.
It's the
No,
functionality.
I think they look goofy as hell, but they feel great on my feet.
Right,
Like the
but
flip-flops.
compared to a flip flop,
There was a
it's not a
year-
look thing.
No, I don't mind the look of flip flops. I don't understand the functionality of them.
So
Like,
would you wear Chacos?
Yeah, so I have 2 pairs of Chacos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So argument against it, I think it's the most comfortable thing ever because I just walk.
Yeah.
I don't think about
Like
it. I think I have said probably 5 times in the last 2 weeks, shoes are a prison for my feet, and I hate shoes. I hate shoes.
Yeah. I walk around my house all day long wearing shoes and socks.
I would not
and,
wear
like,
shoes if I had to.
yeah,
if I didn't
I'm a
have
shoes
to.
guy. Pay attention. If you ever see me barefoot,
I've
it'll
never
only
seen
be in
you
a pool.
barefoot.
Never seen you barefoot.
It'll be in a pool only. That's the only time
Your
it happens.
house, you've got socks and shoes on?
Yeah.
It's just in the
I take
shower.
my shoes off at your house.
I always tell you, you don't have to.
I'm Asian.
Yeah. I appreciate that about you, but
My shoes are off right now.
really? Shit. Okay. Yeah. My shoes are on.
I don't
and-
care.
Yeah.
Disrespectful
And I don't get it.
bitch.
Like my kid, like when she gets home, my kid like drops to the ground right inside the front door and can't wait to get her shoes. and
because
socks
they're
on.
cages. They are terrible.
They're
I
support,
hate them
yeah.
so much.
Man, you were worked up.
Yeah. This is a genuine point of
understand it.
anger.
That is Letty's first question when we get anywhere. Can I take my shoes off yet?
The other thing
They
that
know. They know. The kids know.
The other thing I really don't get is when guys wear like jeans, full length jeans, and flip flops. Like you're wearing jeans because it's cold outside. I know, Kyle. I know. I've never said this out loud, but clearly you have long jeans on because it's cold, and then your toes are exposed. Don't your toes get cold? My toes are always freezing.
I walked a total of 12 feet to get inside this building.
Then you should have worn shorts and flip flops.
I just didn't change to
If you would have
shorts.
had shorts and flip flops on, I'd feel less offended.
Also,
but-
jeans have changed style. Like these jeans are comfortable.
They are.
They are
Okay.
not.
Are they stretchy pants?
They're little stretchy pants. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. 5'11" tactical. They're good, stretchy, not firm, not stiff. They're not uncomfortable.
Real quick to jeans. I don't think I've ever said this to anybody before, but like the moment that I realized I had to go on a diet when I was 50 pounds heavier than I am now, I went to DXL, which is like the big and tall store, and I was trying to find jeans that fit me right, and like my thighs are bigger than my waist, so it's always an issue. And they showed me, they're like, oh, these are perfect for you. And they brought it, and it was straight up like jeans that had like basketball pants stretchiness, and at first I was like, this is awesome, and then immediately I was like, oh, this is bad. Like this is bad that I'm having to graduate. I need to lose weight like right now. So anyhow, I wore jeans to your wife's birthday. Big deal for me. I don't wear jeans.
Yeah,
much.
I've only seen you in jeans once. Otherwise, it's gym shorts.
Jeans and flip-flops are two things that I don't understand. Jeans are the least comfy thing in the world. Maybe it's because I don't have the right jeans. Maybe.
Yeah, they have changed a lot. I will say that. Or I just was raised in the first pair of Levi's that fit, and that's the jeans you had for school. But they were just stiff and uncomfortable, and they sucked.
Miserable.
Now they're just like, they're not bad. You wearing a good pair of them, you wear them in.
You know how some people have like a weird like fear about getting stabbed in the eye, or like some part of their body that they feel is vulnerable.
Licking paper.
So I think my thing is my toes. Like when my toes are exposed, I feel like they could get fucked. Like whether it's somebody stepping on them or an animal or a snake or whatever. Like I don't like my feet exposed, and I'm weird. Like I need to protect them at all costs. Tennis shoes are the best thing to do that. Yeah, you're walking around just leaving your shit hanging out there for somebody to get. I don't understand it.
That's what I worry about, just leaving my fly down.
Yeah.
Because I'm commando most of the time.
Okay, that could be a problem.
My wife was like, yours flies down. And I was like, oh, I went pee like 3 hours ago.
Not that it.
What's most of the time?
Most of the time?
Yeah, percentage. Give me a rough percentage.
60-40.
Okay. I know something new.
At work, I wear it like when I'm going into an office at work. Yeah, I'll definitely be wearing it because you never know when you bend down to pick something up. You don't want that to be like bloop bloop.
Do you wear your jorts, commando?
Yeah,
So I never tried it, but I feel like that material without anything to protect.
they're like what he's talking about. They are stretchy.
Okay,
Still not the
I would
greatest,
feel like
man.
that'd be chafing galore.
Still not the greatest material.
Yeah.
And like the tightness of it, I think is more my issue there.
Okay,
Yeah, you guys are forgetting I'm Asian.
that's true.
So
It retreats to its shell during the day.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So my wife sent me this video. She was like, "Hey, we need to get quails again." And
Did you guys kill all your last quails?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm watching this video, and this dude's like holding quails, and he puts them on the bed, and they like come back to his hands. And like one of them didn't want to come, two of them didn't. He was like, "Hey, come here." And he was trying to get him to come there, and I was like, "Okay, well, let's see if the two come there." And they eventually did, and then he did it again. So after watching that, I thought to myself, I guess so. The kids like quail eggs, that's fine. So then I watched the video a third time, just trying to figure out, do the quails pee and poop on this dude's bed? He's on his bed, just poop, playing with them. Well, tonight at dinner, my wife said, "Oh, did you watch that video I sent you?" I said, "What, the quails?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I watched it." She goes, "Watch it again." So I pulled it up and I was like, "What am I watching about this? The dude has tiny little quails." She goes, "Look at his shorts." And I said, "Oh my goodness."
Were they your jorts?
No, this dude's just in gray sweat shorts and his like members there.
Were you or no? So this was a
Huge wang. I mean, his dick was like this big. I didn't see it at first. And I said, "Is this the first thing you saw?" She said, "He has tons of videos." Okay, cool. Thanks for that confirmation, babe.
So we just had this
$12.99 a month.
discussion. We just had this discussion at the Campbells on Sunday because the women were talking about gray sweatpants season, and the other three guys that were there had never heard of this. I was the only one aware. I don't understand it, and maybe I got to get some gray sweatpants, but like that's a whole thing with ladies now is like, ooh, it's gray sweatpants season, and apparently gray sweatpants, you can see the outline of a guy's junk better.
So maybe I was wrong on my assessment of who's actually subscribing to dudes.
I'm
OnlyFans.
telling you.
It might actually be women.
They are horny creatures too.
Yep. So
try one.
Megan taught my wife about gray sweatpants season, and then
I
Stephanie,
heard topped at
Stephanie
first,
was like-
and I was like, "What?"
Stephanie was like, "Ooh, we need to get you some gray." I'm like, there's not a lot to see down there. Like this is for
I
black guys.
feel like you would have to be a shower beyond belief.
100%. Or take a Viagra.
I'm just gonna get a prosthetic, something I can tuck down in
Right.
there.
I mean, the idea that there's just a mass population of dudes that are going to throw on just no underwear, gray sweatpants, and just be like, Oh my God, that is such a small population of dudes.
But what's weird, if I tried to put on gray sweatpants to like
think.
run up to Costco, my wife would be like, what the fuck are you, like in my mind, she's like, put on some fucking clothes, like gray sweat, but apparently gray, that's the key. If they were black, it's not acceptable, but if they're gray,
All my
the women are
I
down.
have a pair of maroon sweatpants.
They don't do the same. It's got to be gray. I don't know why. The shadow of the dick, I don't really know.
Tell us in the comments below why you wear your gray sweatpants. out in
Episode
public.
11, the dudes wear gray sweatpants, and see if we can get a good dick outline.
It's just going to be just filmed from our crotches the whole time. No faces.
Sacha Baron Cohen, the guy that does Borat and all that. Have you guys ever seen his first movie, The Alley G? I think it's called like Alley G. And it has
Alley G
every part where he
Experience
has to black out his penis, he makes it like 3 feet long, like hysterically. If I'm going to get gray sweatpants, I'm going to get like a prosthetic from like the adult
Patricia's?
shop. Something that goes all the way down to my knee just
Yeah,
to make
yeah.
it worth it, you know?
You probably have to get a strap on at that point so it doesn't fall down to the others.
It's true. I'll figure something
Then you'll
out.
have a strap on for
It's going to
bed.
be uncomfortable. Yeah.
I don't know, if you wore tight underwear, you could just like tuck it in.
Oh, yeah.
Got to be a way.
It can't be that heavy.
I figure
That's
if you're
a lot
going to...
of silicone.
If you're gonna pack something in there to try to have a bigger bulge, like go all the way, like go to the knee. That's my thought.
Go to the knee, get a big girthy one.
Yep.
Make it
Best part
big.
is we're married. Like we don't have to. It's never going to be like exposed that you don't have it.
If I walked out of the house with that, my wife would just look at me and shake her head and be like, "Have fun." She wouldn't care at all.
I can see her saying that.
Yeah, like, you idiot.
Have fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what my wife would do. What would my wife do?
I don't. I think she might have the same reaction.
I think she'd
Nah,
shake.
I
her
think
head.
she'd be embarrassed
Yeah.
and just go back inside.
I think Kirsty would be like, "Ooh, like I'm gonna come and hang on your arm as we walk around and everybody else is jealous." I don't know. She'd have that vibe. Where she
No,
walks-
that's yeah. No, I
You're
think that's
you're
that.
accurate.
I think that's right.
yeah. Both,
So are we
both of
gonna
our
put-
wives would like mouth moron as we left. They'd be like, "Fucking moron."
So does that mean we're going to Patricia's after this to each go buy one
Now we have to test the theory.
as a group?
I gotta go buy some gray sweatpants.
I'm pretty sure you can just go to Walmart and buy gray sweatpants,
Yeah.
right?
I didn't mean sweatpants.
Well, no. We have to have
Yeah.
both.
Well,
You have to have both
Okay.
for the test.
Yeah.
Science.
We do wear different size pants.
Yeah.
Now the hypothesis is perfect here because we have predictions of what each wife will do in the situation.
We should video that and then like secret camera it, and then we'll put that on the show in a future date. And
Perfect.
here's the real. I guarantee you, Kirsty's is going to be very similar to as we described.
I think it would do.
There's going to be a little blushing and giggling.
She'll be like, "That's not yours."
Yeah, there.
you trying to fool?
She's going to be a little blushy and giggly.
Yeah.
Morgan's going to just be like, no, fuck no, and just walk back in the house.
Yeah, I laugh because I think we're kind of on the. I think all three of us are probably on the same wavelength. But like, one of the guys that I hang out with, I'm not going to say names if I've already told you this story. But one of the guys I hang out with occasionally. One time I mentioned I was like, "Hey, after we get done playing disc golf, like let's go get a drink somewhere or something along those lines." And he was like, "You want to go to a bar without your wife?" And I was like, "Yeah, like we'll go get a drink." And he was like, "I couldn't set foot in a bar without my wife." And it was really odd because I realized like I'm at one end of the spectrum where 3 nights a week I could be like, I'm going downtown to sit at a bar and talk to ladies, and my wife would be like, "Good fucking luck." Like, you know, fucking turn off the lights when you get home. Like she doesn't mind at all. But there are other relationships where it's like, how dare you even ask if you can go to a bar? Like with only bad things happen at a bar or whatever. But it's kind of a weird. Like, I almost wish that my wife would be like, "Oh, like, you know, don't talk to other women." But she's like, no. She's like, "Good luck. Like, you're going to strike out 3 times and come home."
This segues perfectly into something I wasn't even thinking about talking tonight.
Go for it.
But actually, very interesting. So I have a friend from work, Jeremy. We go out to lunch every couple weeks, usually a drink. It's usually Friday, a drink or two at lunch. Just have a good time and just bullshit. Well, I go back to work a couple Fridays ago after that, and I see a girl that I'm familiar with for a long time just from work. I'm like, "Hey, girl. What's up?"
That sounded so gay. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. And she's like, "Oh, how are you?" You know, go on, go. I was like, "I just came back with my friend, had a couple margs at lunch." And she's like, "Oh, that sounds fun. Let's do that sometime." And immediately I'm just like, "Yeah, that sounds great." Not thinking that anything's going to come of this. Well, today I get a Teams message like, "Hey, I noticed you're out of office on Wednesday. So Tuesday is your Friday next week. Let's go have that lunch."
Cool.
I was like, where does this fit?
Oh, it fits in. Hey, my friend is also joining me for lunch on that Tuesday. Is it cool if he hangs out too? And you can kind of feel it from there.
So yeah, I thought about that.
Okay,
I did think about that.
Because I don't teach on Tuesday.
I did think about that. And so I just asked my wife.
Yeah.
We were alone at gymnastics. I'm like, hey, I this is 100% platonic for me. I have no interest in anything else but you. I just want you to know that. We've known each other for a long time. She knows her.
Yeah.
I
can
well.
already tell you,
They know who each other are.
I guarantee Morgan was absolutely fine with this. I don't know why, but I feel confident that she had no issue.
You know, she said no. She didn't have an issue.
Okay,
She
got
said she did not have an issue.
Gotcha.
But there was also like there was a thought moment, and I told her, I said, I swear to you, whatever you say is fine from here.
Yeah.
And I do not care. I 100% this lunch is probably going to happen, but it will happen with a third person if you were not comfortable, and if you have 1% of uncomfortability, it will happen with a third person, and that person could be her. They know each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Seeing as how your wife and I are pretty much the same person, it's just that she's much, much, much prettier than me. She's probably thinking like going to work with someone of the opposite gender or going to lunch with someone from work of the opposite gender might not be the best career move or could have other potential.
We talked about that.
Okay.
Just the perceived notion.
Yeah. Like it could look like, oh, what are they doing?
Yeah.
And then the rumor mill starts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we did talk about that, and I said personally, I don't care. I don't have that problem. I've never been anything but professional at work, and if someone wants to assume something, they can go ahead and assume something. I don't have that problem, but I do understand the question that you're raising.
well, I'm not bringing the question. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
no, not you.
me-
I'm just saying that
okay.
if a person were to have a problem from the outside,
Yeah. Because I think that's probably a thought that came across her mind. What do I think about that? How do you do? Nah. I don't think going like one-on-one. So I had a student ask me that one time. He was like, hey, I'm struggling with some stuff. Can we go grab lunch one of the days this week? Because I got to bounce some ideas off you and kind of just talk like what it is being like, what I'm experiencing being a female in construction. And I didn't answer immediately. And she was like, yeah, probably shouldn't do that. That's going to be like not a good look.
does it make a difference that we've known each other for 10 years?
No.
I mean, I understand like a student that you don't know, and that can be weird.
This is one I've known for 2 years.
Is there,
Okay.
So
real quick, is there any direct report supervisor type
No,
at all?
different
Is it-
department
okay,
entirely.
just making sure. 'Cause that's the only, to me, that's the only thing that's like, that's a red flag work wise. Like, do not get in that trap.
No. Different. Like,
yeah.
I mean, 100% different career paths. Just people who have been kind of buddies for a long time, and
Yeah. I feel like if there's trust there, that shouldn't be an issue. But also, like, there's certain people like, what was it? It was Mike Pence, the former VP, that he had a rule like where he could not be in a room with another woman without a third party there, like at period.
I thought you were going to say within 500 feet of a school.
No, well, but it was just, and he always said it was out of respect for his wife. He's not going to put himself in that position. And it's like, well, okay, I get that. Like, so I think it's just every relationship is different. I met that girl at the OU game way back. And then went and watched Thursday Night Football with her for a couple months after that. And I would tell my wife, we're going to meet that Jennifer girl. And sorry, I said her name.
Whatever.
Go and meet her. We'd go hang out.
that's the safest name you've said in forever.
Yeah. But no, we'd go hang out and watch Thursday Night Football until about the fourth quarter. Then I'd head home. And my wife never had an issue with that. And it's just kind of one of those where, like, if there's the trust there, and plus, from the first time I met her, I came home and I told my wife, like, oh, I met this girl at the bar. And, like, she was like, oh, I wish you weren't married. So I was very upfront about, here's all the communication that happened. I'm not hiding anything. And I think that...
I mean, I came straight home and talked to her about it. Well,
Yeah.
And didn't even make it home. We were at gymnastics.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I just want to let you know that this happened. This is a thing that we're I'm not going to just say no. Like, no, my wife said no, I can't go out with you to a lunch date. I can't go out with you like as a girl. You can't be my girlfriend. That's not allowed.
You guys aren't going to go steady?
Yeah, that's... but... So like it's probably going to happen, but I will 100% involve somebody else. Just random. I will pick a person out of the crowd, if nothing else, and be like, "Hey, we're going to lunch,
dude.
Have fun."
Way back when me and Stephanie first started dating, like I don't know when the first Harry Potter came out, but at some point she was like, "Hey, if it's okay with you, I'm going to go see this movie with." It was a guy that worked at Quick Trip. His name was Casey. And she was like, we're going to go see this together. He's a big Harry Potter fan. They were like clerks together. And I was a little weird about it, but we were just kind of barely dating. So I didn't have the authority to be like, you can't go. But it was like, that's a little weird. And then it became a thing for the next like 9 years or however many of them there are. But every time the new Harry Potter came out, and it was like a running joke where she'd be like, it's my date night with Casey tonight. We're going to go see and like at a certain point we were living together and not married yet, but living together. And I was like, hold on, like you're going to see Harry Potter with Casey again? Like I started to not be kind of cool with it. And it was the funniest thing because I was a manager at the place I worked at the time and he worked there as well. And like after like the 5th movie, I just happened to run into him. He was at my store. And I remember I knew he was coming that day and I had never seen him before even. And I was like, that's that fucker right there. Like I kind of, and I was trying to like, like bow up to him. I was kind of just trying to be intimidating.
Yeah.
And like within 2 minutes of him being there, he was like, you're Andy? Oh my God, Andy, thank you so much. And he was like, thanks for letting Lennon or Stephanie go with me. Like, I really look forward to it. And you're such an awesome guy. Don't let Lennon go with him. Yeah, sorry. And he was so kind to me that it totally diffused the situation. And then also there was like more than 50%. And I was like, oh, like, all right, moving on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, I was genuinely curious. Something about it felt odd to me. I'm sort of new to the corporate world.
That's true. I don't know. Your corporate game has increased a lot.
Yeah, it has.
You still got me.
If it was Stephanie and she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab a bite to eat. You want to go?" I'd be like, "Yeah, cool."
Yeah.
And that's 100% different. But this kind of felt a little out of the blue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it was like,
well, when I went to get these cups, I messaged the person and I was like, "Hey." What?
That's a good sound. In this microphone, it sounds amazing.
Does it sound like rain?
Sounds really good.
Yeah. So when I went to go pick up the cups from the individual there in Kansas City, she said, "Hey, are you going to be in office tomorrow? I have your cups." And I said, "If you're just coming up to the office to give me these cups, there's no reason for you to drive 45 minutes. I can just meet you somewhere after work today." And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And in my head, I was like, I probably should have said specifically, "I will meet you somewhere in public." To which she was like, "There's a Quick Trip that's like in between the office and my house." And I said, "That's perfect. We will meet at a Quick Trip parking lot that's a public place with cameras. And like, you could just hand me the bag." And that's exactly what happened. She rolled up, handed the bag, and I was like, "Thanks.
Yeah.
See you later."
So I will say this. I don't have any fear of weird allegations or anything. I don't have any issues with that. Our relationship goes far enough back. Everything's good. There's no problems with that. So I don't have to worry. I'm not thinking of like, oh, well, he said this or he did that or anything like that. It's just, it's my wife's comfort level. And I that was my immediate like,
So as I put more thought into it, like two things are most crucial here. Number one is your wife's comfort level with that person, whoever it may be. And you said it's somebody she's known in the past.
I mean, I've met, not known at all.
And I, like guys can pick up, in my opinion, guys and girls can both pick up on this, but like, Have you ever had a guy friend of your wife and there's just something where you just like he's trying
to get in her pants?
It's not all on the up and up.
Yep.
Like and guys can sense that right off the bat. And I gotta believe women can probably sense that about other women around their husband.
Probably.
So that's one of those where if your wife for whatever reason, and I'm kind of changing my initial stance after thinking about this, but if your wife for whatever reason is like, no, not her, like there's something she's picking up on. And while it might not be true, she's picking up on it. So for that reason.
She didn't say that by any means.
No, I'm just saying.
Yes, but I think you phrased that really well, actually. Yeah. And that's kind of maybe why I was like, "Hey, honey, look at me, look at me." I'm asking, I'm telling you that I will take somebody else. Doesn't matter who, I will figure it out. But I want you to know that I haven't even answered her yet. I just kind of feel like I just can't say no.
You left her on the little eyeball. I read this thing.
Well, she's like, "How about lunch next Tuesday?" I'm like, "Oh, that could work." And then she said, "Where are we going?" And I was like, that is actually where I've left her. So she's been eyeballed.
Ooh, El Tequila.
There's a little Mexican place right down the street from where we work. That's kind of where I go.
Well, so El Tequila is also down the street from where we work.
Yeah.
It's 2.5 miles.
Is that the big place right off the highway?
The one on 40?
On Elm. Elm between 61st and between 61st and 51st, or 61st and the highway. Over by that car dealership.
What's the tequila place right off the highway there, kind of downtown?
Do you like that place?
It's amazing. They hand make their tortillas in house. They're freaking awesome.
I also work in Little Mexico, so that's pretty common.
True. My favorite Mexican food restaurant in town is that place.
Oh. Okay. It's been a long time since.
You know the one right off? I don't know if it's off 244 or 44, but it's right off the highway on the north side, and it says like tequila's in the name. I think it's El Tequila.
Oh, Tequila Mezcal or something like that.
Maybe it's a big building. It looks kind of fancy.
Never mind. No.
Yeah, I'll figure out the name. We went in there one time, and it was actually it was some of the best Mexican food I've had. It's right off of. It's on the north side of either 244 or 44, and I don't know I used. Growing up, I'm going to sidetrack us, but growing up in DFW, like you could blindfold me and drop me anywhere in the Metroplex and I could take a look around and I could figure out how to get home. Like I knew that place like the back of my hand. Since moving up here, I think I use Apple Maps everywhere I go.
Which is so ironic because every street is a 1.
But once I get north of the river, like I need my phone because I've followed my phone every time, so I haven't taken the time to learn. So I'll get into situations like this where I'm like, the place, it's right on the north side of whatever highway it's on.
North of the river? You mean the entire fucking city?
Yeah, I live down in Egypt, remember?
I understand, but north of the river is 99% of the population
If
where
this
you live.
table was the Tulsa Metroplex, north of the river is from here that way.
Yeah. I'm down.
This is the percent of the population, by the way.
I'm down 15 minutes south of the river. So, dude, take a guess at what percentage of soccer parents came to the birthday party and immediately commented on how far away I live.
100.
Yeah, it wasn't just y'all. It's everybody on the soccer team is like, what are you
Y'all
doing?
live way
over
too
here?
far out. Way too far out.
2 of the parents were like, we're so glad that you guys are committed to drive all this way for practice and everything. It's like, yeah, I do this twice a week.
I do think it's a habit that you've grown into in the DFW area.
That's true. When I drive to Texas, it takes me 2 hours and 45 minutes, maybe 3 hours ish to get to the north side of DFW. And then the next hour and a half is trying to get through DFW because my parents live on the south side. So, and me and my wife joke about it all the time, but I'll be doing fine. So I drive. My wife sits in the passenger seat and watches her iPad. But I'm driving, I'm in a good mood. And then we hit McKinney, and my mood starts to get worse. And I'm gripping. And by the time we're in Plano, I'm yelling at cars. And she always makes a joke. She's like, "We need to stop and switch right before we hit DFW, and let me take us the last hour and a half because you're going to kill someone." And it might be a good idea.
See, I'm spoiled. If I'm doing the Oklahoma City drive once every 2 weeks now, I'm like, I will drive somebody off the road on the way back. Just get out of the way, please. Please. We're still from the South, so I'm still going to say please and give them a little.
Give a little bless your heart. You're driving a little slow.
Yeah, just get the fuck out of the fast lane.
What's funny is I used to people would talk about Texas drivers to me when I lived in Texas, and they're like, "Oh, you Texas drivers," and I was like, "We drive fast. What is the?" But it's funny because now, when I go back to Texas, and it's just because of the congestion. In my mind, 1 out of every 25 cars on the road has got a moron driving it.
Dude, there's still someone going to go past you 120 on a highway that's
probably
congested.
more. I'm being generous with 1 out of 25, but let's just say where I live, I might pass 17 cars anywhere I go in a day, so my odds of seeing a moron are low. Whereas in Texas, I'm passing 700 cars, so there's several morons to contend with.
Statistics.
And
that's fair, but there is a 100% chance if you're on a major highway in DFW, someone is going at least 120.
If they can, if it's not packed, if it's not 5 lanes wide.
Even then,
packed.
even when it's pretty tight, they're still trying to go 120 through. And you don't see that here nearly as much.
Yeah, I'll say being in the 1-ton, people ride my ass a lot less than they used to.
So I used to have it was a 2001 Ford long bed 4-door Power Stroke diesel F-250. It was a big old truck. And I had Longhorns. I had a grill guard on the front and Longhorns taped to the front.
Oh, God, I hate you for that.
Dude, the guy that ran the division that I worked in Dallas pulled me aside one time and he goes, Andy, not all attention's good attention. And I was just like, huh? And years later, that kind of hit me. And I was like, oh, yeah. But in that truck, I learned that if I need to get over, you can just start to get over and they will make a hole. It's awesome driving a long
I actually
bed
think that
F-250.
works for almost every car. I think you just have the comfort to do it.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm getting over now. Y'all should look out. And that's how I drove that thing. It was great. I miss that.
That is a phrase I say in my head or out loud is mine's bigger.
Yep. I'm coming. That's the thing you say too, right? Yeah. At home.
Mine's
Gray
bigger.
sweatpants.
I'm coming.
Yep.
Gray sweatpants.
Whereas Kyle, and it's a different mentality though, because when you're in a white sedan that's sporty, I don't know why white mattered. White does matter. No, sorry. Anywho.
I was thinking size.
Yeah.
I'm Asian. I'm Asian.
Yeah. Anyhow, I think in your mind, you're like, when I drive a little car, I don't know how you feel all the time, but if I find myself in a small car, like I feel sporty as hell. Even if I'm in like a Ford Taurus.
I'll hit that gas like
Yeah.
no one's business.
And it's like, I don't need to make my way in. I'm going to sneak in. Like I'm going to
100%.
Yeah. As a guy who drove a truck my whole life, if I find myself behind a sporty little car, I slide into like Fast and Furious mode real quick where I think I'm in a Corvette automatically. I don't know
For
why.
family.
Yep.
Oh, you know what we did not talk about? The enthralling Tyson.
Jesus. I'm so glad I didn't have to pay for that. I had some people over for that, and like I thought that it would be a Jake Paul win. We talked about this in advance. I at first I was like, I don't know, and then towards the end I was like, I think Jake Paul's going to do this. But I thought Mike would look better for longer. I knew the longer the fight went, Mike would start to get tired. Mike looked good for the first round and the first 20 seconds of the second round. And from then on, he looked like a 60-year-old man.
Dude, if you believe that was a legitimate fight, I've got some swampland in Florida to sell you.
I think Jake Paul was pulling his punches the last several rounds. I think Jake Paul could have knocked him out.
Tyson
Dude,
was
there's
pulling his
legitimately
punches.
videos of wide open shots where Tyson just pulls back his arm.
I don't know. I think Tyson looked old. Like he was struggling when you saw him in the corner between rounds. He was breathing hard after the second round, and he hadn't done much.
There are 6-minute unedited videos of Tyson warming up for this fight where he is just launching punches for 6 straight minutes.
You know, that's.
And there's videos in the fight where he has unblocked access to a chin,
I've seen that one.
and he goes,
I've seen one clip of
and he pulls it
one
back.
they keep showing where he doesn't.
in the
fully
second
unload it.
round, where he had plenty of time to knock that dude.
He caught him with one good punch in the first round.
100, yeah, because you've got to it's here, dude. That was 100% fixed.
What?
What did Paul make off of it? 40 million. What did Tyson make off of it? 20 million.
I thought it was
They're
like
both
30,
like,
yeah.
They're both like, okay.
That's what you get when you sign up to watch an unsanctioned fight like that, where it's a 50-year-old man versus a TikTok star. Like, if you were expecting a fight on the up and up, I'm sorry, but it was,
I 100% get it, but at the same time, I will not.
Yeah.
I will not have it where it was like, oh yeah, he just whooped his ass. Nah, you have one trained killer. I mean, an absolute trained killer. I don't care if it lasted 30 seconds. I would have believed it because you have a trained murderer on one side, one guy whose mindset has never been on anything else than murder the man in front of me, versus somebody who's like, I also have thrown punches.
I think that Jake Paul, and I hate the Paul brothers, but I think Jake Paul is a better boxer than most people give him credit for. He's a decent boxer. He's never fought anybody ranked and good, or I guess he's never fought a contender, but he can box. And I'm just telling you what I saw.
That should tell you the answer you need to know right there.
Mike
you just
Tyson-
answered your question.
Mike
One of the
Tyson's-
best killers of all time.
He's 58, dude.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Have you seen his training videos?
I don't care. He can hit a
care.
bag hard.
It wasn't a bag. It was
Moving
hands.
people.
So he was hitting the guy holding the gloves?
Yes.
Again, it's different when somebody's throwing punches at you. And Mike, just watching Mike walk out of the ring back to the locker room or whatever, he was moving like Joe Biden.
You ever watched WrestleMania?
I
really
don't watch wrestling.
Oh, yeah, you did.
You ever
watched
any-
it with boxing
any
gloves.
staged fighting or wrestling things?
I don't know a lot about wrestling.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you did. You watched it.
You just
Okay.
watched
I
WrestleMania
got you.
last
You watched
Saturday.
it. As a wrestling fanatic, you watched it.
Yeah.
He's an
You
actor.
saw it.
He's a good actor.
Tyson
So you
could've-
believe that Tyson would take a dive for a paycheck?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like
wouldn't
Mike's
take
got.
it?
When's the last paycheck he's gotten?
I feel like Mike's got more pride than that.
When's the last paycheck? I don't. When's the last paycheck he's gotten?
He's doing. He's got his own cannabis company right now. He's apparently doing good financially.
Apparently.
Okay, that's what they say.
Yeah. Tons of people have
The
good.
internet says his net worth is 10 million.
Okay, so how about an extra 30?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, right. Like I'm full on board.
I'm going to take a dive too. My kids are now taken care of forever.
I told Andy I think he's gonna knock him out in the second round, and then
10 ain't that much anymore, guys.
Before I can't remember who I don't know if it was either of you guys, but I said something before the fight. I was like, "There's no way Tyson loses this fight in a lot of people's minds because either he wins or it was rigged." And I feel like that's where we're at. Is like there was no scenario where Tyson loses and people go, "Oh, that was a good fight." If he loses, no matter what, everybody says it was rigged, and that's where we're at. Yeah. So,
thought that was gonna happen.
I mean, that's you just covered. That's sunk fallacy cost. You just covered both sides and were like, well, I'm right if I do. If either
No, I'm
thing
just saying,
happens.
I don't think there's any way Tyson loses that fight, and people go, it was a real fight. He lost. No, no
Well,
matter-
you just covered yourself. Either he wins and you're right, or he loses and you're right.
Well, I think there was a total possibility heading into it that he gets beat by Jake Paul, legit.
You did say that. You thought you switched. He texted me and said, I think Jake Paul's going to win.
And it was 100% was just the age. I know Mike's a killer, and if we could see Mike at 30 versus Jake Paul, he would eat him for lunch, clearly. Mike at 58, and it looked to me like Mike had knee and back problems. From years of fighting and weightlifting, clearly I would think he does. But it seemed like his old age caught up to him real quick in this fight. He was not moving well at all. If he was trying to sell it, if he was throwing the fight and trying to sell it, he could have looked a little more lively. He kept trying to shuffle his feet like he had some energy, and he could only do it for about 2 seconds, and then he'd go back to standing.
I'll give you that, but I also think he could have killed him in 10 seconds.
I think it was the shuffle the feet. All right, Mike, don't do that. Okay.
I think
Shuffle the
his,
feet.
I think his knees told him not to do it.
But I agree with you, but I also think the fight would have been over with 10 seconds. If he thought it was supposed to be over. Boxing is one of those things, man. You hear about those old 60, 70-year-old boxers who will go fuck somebody up in a bar. And I know you're saying Paul's probably a solid boxer.
He can box.
But he's not a boxer.
I'd love to see Paul. I would pay to see Paul fight like the number 2 contender or the number 3. I don't know who any of them are.
He'd get murdered.
That's why I'd pay to see it. I want to see him get murdered. That's why I was excited.
But he won't, because it's all fake.
He's going to keep getting paid to fight former UFC fighters. Yeah,
exactly. He's going to keep getting paid. It's all fake.
At least we can all thank Netflix, because Netflix paid whatever amount of money to have that fight, and we all got to see it for free.
No, we didn't.
On our phones.
No, they didn't. No, we didn't. Like, we had to earn it because we tried to restart that stream 784 times. If you want to count the time we spent, the 3 people in the room watching that spent to try and watch it, we didn't pay it for free. We actually lost a lot of money on it.
This is what I watched it on.
I'll tell you what, I busted out my old 12.9-inch iPad, and it never crashed once. It was crystal clear. For some reason, my TV couldn't do it. My iPad worked like a charm. I don't know why.
It's so funny to me that people watch that, and I watched it. I mean, I'm not saying there's any problem with watching. I watch wrestling. I'm good with that, and think that yep, that is legit. What I just watched was legit. There no possible chance it wouldn't get sanctioned in every state because everyone knew it was fucking bullshit. And then you're like, oh, you have one of the best punchers of all time. Oh, well, now he can't throw a punch.
But didn't Tyson lose his last couple fights?
He wasn't perfect.
No, but
against
he
the
lost.
number 1 in the world.
No, he lost his last 2 or 3 fights against not the number 1 in the world.
And
that was 20 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was.
Hey, you can say what you want. I will 100% die on this hill.
You cannot.
He would have destroyed somebody who is not classically trained in boxing.
Okay, I think it appears that Jake Paul has been trained well. I'm not saying he's a contender. I'm just saying he can box.
Sure.
And
I can box with 6 months of training, but
even though their weight, I think it was one of them was 228 and the other was 227. But when you looked at them standing next to each other, Paul looked considerably bigger than Mike, and more ripped, more muscular.
40
He's
years
also in
younger.
his 20s.
Yeah.
Again, it's a 27-year-old guy versus a 58-year-old guy.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's what it came down to. And I do the only part where I think that it was rigged, I guess is the right word, is I think once Jake Paul realized that Mike was out of gas, I think he took it really easy on him the rest of the fight. He didn't want to knock out Mike.
See, we're seeing things from different views. I think it was just like, okay, we made it past the first 2 rounds. Now let's dance. Let's tag each other up. Because why would he not? Why would he not knock him out?
He didn't, and I think he could have. I think he really could have.
Why would he not?
Because out of respect for Mike.
Okay.
And even at the end when he did the bow or whatever.
Yeah, he bowed at the end, sure.
Yeah.
But why would you make it 8 rounds to just not punch somebody?
I'd say if you go back and watch it with a critical eye, the
not how boxing works.
last 5 rounds, Paul very much looked like he was holding back.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
No, I can agree with that.
And Mike looked done, out of gas.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. I just think that it was very a classically trained killer would knock out somebody who's not prepped for it any day.
But that's where you're wrong, in my opinion, though, is that he wasn't not prepped for it. You could say he's not a
He's
top
been training for a couple
He's not a
years.
top 10 boxer. He's been boxing for several years.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's trained by, I can't remember, I don't know anything about boxing, but whoever's his manager, trainer, whatever.
I would love to see him against the 50th ranked heavyweight.
I'd love to see it too. But
he would get absolutely destroyed.
I don't remember who they said, but whoever his coach, trainer, whatever is well respected in the game.
Sure.
So he's been getting good instruction for several years. He can box. I hate saying that. I hate the guy, but he can box.
After hundreds of millions of dollars of faked fights, I would agree. Yeah, sure.
To me, it's like the saddest sign of our culture that those two are both millionaires or billionaires or whatever the hell they are. Like that's a sign
brothers?
of that's a sign.
Not
of
for
a
me with Mike
society.
Tyson. Yeah, he's a shitty person. He's done some shitty things. He's been convicted
Mike
of shitty
earned his
things.
money beating some ass. I'm talking about the Paul brothers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Douchebags.
yeah. Those two being that rich bothers me, and that means America's crumbling.
Why?
I don't. The fact that those two can get that filthy rich for being morons on the internet, like
What have they done illegally to upset you though?
they haven't done anything illegally. What they've done, the fact that Americans as a society, like our children, especially like young kids, look at that and they think those two are awesome, means we have failed as a society.
Okay, so let's go back 20 years and say Tom Cruise.
Would you
What's
say
he
that,
done?
Would you say that Tom Cruise is equally as horrible as the Paul brothers? 'Cause
I don't know. I'm genuinely asking, what have they done to upset you?
Oh, he's done nothing to upset me.
Tom
Cruise.
They're actors. It's the same thing to me. They're actors. They're public figures of
It's just
Social
It's just in a different realm.
social entertainment.
But what Tom Cruise does, I think, takes enormous skill. Like any good actor, I think there's a body of work and an art form there, whatever you want to call it.
I think it takes enormous skill because we've seen 100 million Gen Zs come up, and there's a few that have made it. Right?
What made the Paul brothers so awesome? I don't remember.
I don't know. I legitimately have no idea. That's why I'm
I know
asking.
that one of them filmed that like suicide forest in Japan or whatever. And got in trouble for that.
Yeah,
that's really all I know about.
That was the other Paul.
That was the first time I heard their names. Is like when that
One
happened.
had a Charizard.
That was the other Paul again.
I think Jake Paul had like a little girl's bike with like the tassels on it and stuff back in the day. I feel like I saw him on Disney at one point.
Logan. That was Logan.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know they were Disney stars.
Logan Paul was a Disney guy.
Okay, yeah.
So that's I'm not saying I like the people. I've never seen a single show of theirs, but I don't get why our generation is like, oh, what are they doing? They're actors.
But I'll say I haven't seen most of their work. I will say
no.
The things I have seen, I look at it and I'm like, how? And maybe it's the old man in me. Maybe I'm an old man.
I think
and
that's
I don't
what's
get
happening
it.
here.
But I look at it and I'm like, how is this like even Mr. Beast, by all accounts, is so successful at what he does and blah, blah, blah. But I watch his videos and I'm like, I don't get how kids are into this. But I get clearly it's the fact that I'm an old man and I don't understand what the kids are into these days. But
it's not that kids are, we are not paying them. What we're shooting for on this thing is advertisers.
Well, but it's the views. They're getting the views, which equals the monetizing money.
Right.
And the kids, like my daughter thinks Mr. Beast is phenomenal.
Okay.
And she believes everything she sees on there. Dad, did you know that Mr. Beast, blah, 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 blah? And I'm like, it's probably staged or whatever it is. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't staged.
I think a lot of his stuff is not staged.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw some movies the first time and I'm like, oh my God, did you see that? Did you see what they just did? Not knowing that it was fake.
That's true.
It's a lot of the same. They're just actors and they're good. Once again, now I've watched a lot of Mr. Beast stuff. I have seen a lot of that. I've not seen the Paul stuff. They could be terrible human beings.
They appear to be.
No comment on that. But is it any different than Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt in the 90s?
No, I see where you're going with this. It's a different form of entertainment and a different avenue of media. And they're successful because they appeal to a crowd who has access to it now.
Bang.
Yeah.
Like it was much more difficult
It was.
for Cruise and Brad Pitt back in the day because they had to like go and then
They had to win
the
it.
film, they had to win the role, so on and so forth. Like we are stupidly doing this, hoping that one day it gets some traction and then we get money.
Right, but they won that too, though. So you're talking about the idea that the Pitt and Cruise had to go to L.A. and win that, right? And now that microscope was so small. Now the microscope is huge.
And maybe
now you're getting that massive audience. You don't have to win 1 million anymore like you had to in the movies. Now you have to win 100 million.
Yeah.
Maybe, and that, but I don't know what all they did to get to where they are today with Jake Paul and them. I know that like with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt and people like that, like without even knowing them in particular, I can guarantee you that their story goes something like this. we all like to do this thing where we're like, John Hamm, he's a madman. I love that guy for whatever reason. I don't know if you know who he is. God, okay, I'll find him later and I'll send you a picture. But he's a good actor, and he just kind of showed up when he was probably in his 40s. And it's like, oh, wow, he was an overnight success. And I listened to him in an interview one time, I think with Howard Stern or somebody, we were talking about, no, I was doing commercials and theater and for 15 or 20 years until I got my break. And then it's almost insulting to him that when he gets his break, everybody's like, oh, you came out of nowhere. And it's like, no, I've been busting my... And even Tom Cruise and people that get found young, like that's not their first movie. They've been busting their ass for a while. Where it seems to me, and this is where I very clearly could be wrong, it seems to me a lot of these people just kind of stumble onto YouTube fame. And they're, oh God.
Don't you think it takes talent though to stumble upon YouTube fame for continued success?
I think for continued success, I don't know. Like it takes from my understanding of YouTube and how to be successful here, it takes an understanding of how the system operates to begin with. And then when you understand that, you actually have to create content that feeds into this algorithm. Everyone always says YouTube algorithm. So you have to have some sort of content that one makes people want to actually click your video, then actually stay watching your video. Like Mr. Beast broke it down a lot, which is you've got to change something every 10 seconds because that's just about as long as people can pay attention to things. So first you start with the thumbnail. The thumbnail has to be big, flamboyant, something crazy going on. The title has to be, I want to know more. You click it, you show them a bit of the end, you show them a bit of the beginning, you give them stuff, you change it up, you give them stuff, you change it up, you give them stuff, you throw a curveball, but it's a much faster pace than a film is. A film is 2 hours to get you to be bought in total the whole time. So the work and the effort they put into it, being successful on YouTube is not easy. Otherwise, we would all be.
Yeah, you just described to me someone who's actually business smarter than the person who can do things for 2 hours.
It's got to come down to the fact that I don't get what the kids like today. So I'm an old man. But like, you guys know who Aiden Ross is? Nope. I heard this name so many times. Familiar. So I was like, who is? I went on YouTube and tried to find him. And I watched like one of his live streams, whatever it is. And I sat there with the most perplexed look on my face for like 45 minutes. And I was just like, how is this? And you could see how many views and subscribers. It was a shitload.
Name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, he's a popular one. But it's like kids are lining up to watch this guy, and he's not talking about anything interesting. He's just sitting there talking. It was the weirdest thing ever. I don't get it.
I can't always explain it. There's an old man in me. I don't watch. I do have, like I said, I watch Mr. Beast. I find those videos kind of entertaining sometimes too myself. Now the Paul brothers, I've never once watched a video of theirs. Aiden Ross, I don't think I've watched a video of his. Maybe I have.
It's like the kid when your kids were little. Did they ever find the YouTube videos where it was like that kid Ryan that like you get to watch Ryan play with his toys? Ryan was apparently a millionaire by like age 7 or 8. Because
in 2020, he was the highest paid YouTube person.
Exactly. But my kid would love to sit there and watch Ryan playing with some of the toys he'd play with. She had. They're right over there. You could go play with this yourself. And for whatever reason, she'd rather sit there and watch Ryan play with them. And it made no sense to me. But it's like the Big Bang Theory. Were either of you guys Big Bang Theory fans? I think I've tried to watch that. That is the dumbest show ever.
I didn't like it.
But it's got some of the highest ratings ever.
I did try.
Clearly, people like that based off the ratings. It's okay to not get things. Like Kyle and his flip-flops with jeans. I don't get it.
It works.
Okay, but it doesn't have to make sense to me. If he likes it, cool. If people like the Paul brothers, cool. I just don't fucking get it.
Yeah.
But we also have to respect the fact that they figured it out.
They are hustlers because they got Prime now.
They figured all of it out.
They had some good, I believe, mentors to coach them along the way.
Probably, but so did everyone who became famous.
So, right? Like one of the podcasts that I really listened to, that group, they recognized like, hey, there's this community amongst YouTube, like same genre, like gun tubers. And so they just crossed paths here and there. And then they ended up all being on this podcast. And now they, started a whole bunch of other ventures. Like the community, and that happens with a lot of different like groups of streamers or groups of YouTube users. They'll be like, hey, here's what needs to happen. Like I was listening to it. They had a guest on, and it was video game streamers. They said, hey, this next month and a half, we are pushing you as the front runner of this thing. You're going to be the face of this channel. You're going to be your content. We're growing your channel. And when you hit X number of million, 5 million people, then we're going to get this next guy and we're going to push them.
Okay.
And they're helping each other out, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to do that for us, we have Gentleman Jack
Not much of it.
Gray sweatpants,
and Gray Sweatpants.
Yep.
large silicone penises.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. For a second, I was confused. But yes, no, we do need our we need our
I was
prosthetic.
like, guys, back me
Yeah.
up, guys. Come on.
So with that, thanks for sticking around. I don't even know if you're going to see half of what we just talked about.
No, probably not.
If they do see half of it, that's a great success. We should
Great
just air
success.
it all.
Yeah, watch longer than 8 minutes.
Yeah.
As always, thanks for sticking around to the end. That's the best thing you can do for us because it increases the watch time. Don't forget to, Andy,
Like and subscribe.
I'll leave that one in.
Thank you, buddy. First one in how many? What are we? 6 or 7 episodes in? I don't even
You're
know.
on this would be episode 10.
Episode Jesus. Okay, so episode 10, and you're finally gonna let me say it. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Do whatever the hell you want to do.
As long as you like and subscribe.
Okay, bye.
Have a good night, folks.